The Golden Silk Roads, a tale of ancient trade and ambition. In the days of empires where borders stretched across deserts, mountains, and seas, trade was the lifeblood that connected distant lands and diverse peoples. This is the story of the Golden Silk Roads, the legendary trade routes that flowed through the heart of the ancient world, carrying riches and cultures across continents. It was a time when merchants risked their lives for profit and adventure, and when goods from the east and west came together in bustling markets, forever altering history. Part 1. The Rise of the Silk Roads. The story begins with the small kingdom of Hanxia, nestled in the valleys of what is now known as Central Asia. Hanxia was renowned for a prized material, silk. At the time, silk was a fabric reserved for royalty and the wealthy elite. The technique to create this delicate and luxurious cloth was a fiercely guarded secret, passed down through generations within Hanxia's borders. The merchants of Hanxia began to understand that their silk had the potential to command immense wealth. Soon they ventured out on long journeys, traveling by camel through rugged mountains and arid deserts, hoping to reach the fabled western lands where kings and emperors would pay a fortune for even a few yards of silk. As word of this prized fabric spread, demand grew among the elites of Persia, Rome, and India. Yet it was not just silk that flowed through these ancient routes. Alongside it traveled jade from China, ivory from Africa, spices from India, glassware from the Mediterranean, and amber from Northern Europe. The Silk Roads transformed into an intricate web of trade, connecting the known world like veins in a body, with the rarest and most coveted goods flowing like blood. Part 2. Merchants of the East and West. One of these merchants was Kavi, a young and ambitious trader from the bustling city of Taxila, located in present-day Pakistan. Taxila was a melting pot of cultures, languages, and goods, strategically positioned along the Silk Roads. Kavi had grown up watching caravans from distant lands arrive at the city's markets, bringing goods he had only heard about in stories. Driven by a desire to see the world and accumulate wealth, he joined a trade caravan heading west toward Persia. Kavi's journey took him across vast deserts where the sands seemed to stretch to the horizon. He crossed paths with Bedouin tribes who shared tales of hidden oases and ancient cities lost to time. He traveled through high mountain passes, facing freezing winds and treacherous terrain. Yet the hardships were worth it, for Kavi's caravan carried not only silk but also precious stones, fine ceramics, and spices that would fetch high prices in the Persian markets. In Persia, Kavi encountered a wealthy merchant named Ardashir. Ardashir was known as the Sultan of Silk for his unmatched wealth and influence. Intrigued by Kavi's tenacity and the exotic goods he carried, Ardashir offered him a partnership. They would combine their wares and journey to Antioch, one of the major trade hubs of the Roman Empire, where demand for Eastern goods was high. If they succeeded, they would both leave the city wealthy beyond imagination. Part 3. Crossing into the Roman Empire, Kavi and Ardashir set out for Antioch, joining a large caravan of merchants, guards, and servants. The journey was grueling, yet each step brought them closer to their goal. Along the way, they encountered Roman merchants who were just as curious about the East as Kavi was about the West. The Romans were intrigued by silk but had little understanding of how it was made. Some believed it grew on trees or was spun from water. Kavi and Ardashir kept the secret closely guarded, knowing it added to the allure and value of their goods. As they approached the Roman borders, the caravan faced a new threat: bandits and thieves who preyed on wealthy merchants. Ardashir, being an experienced trader, had hired skilled guards to protect the caravan. When they were ambushed one night, the guards fought fiercely, driving the bandits back and ensuring the safety of their wares. Yet Kavi realized that the price of wealth and fame came with constant danger. Finally, They arrived in Antioch. The city was like nothing Kavi had ever seen. Its streets were lined with marble buildings, grand statues, and bustling markets filled with people from across the empire. Word of the caravan's arrival spread, and soon Roman nobles, wealthy merchants, and even representatives of the emperor's court came to see the rare goods from the east. The silk was the star of the show, fetching prices that made Kavi and Ardashir's journey worthwhile. Part 4. The meeting of cultures trade on the Silk Roads wasn't just about goods. It was an exchange of cultures, ideas, and beliefs. In Antioch, Kavi encountered Greek philosophers and Roman scholars who marveled at the wisdom of the East. In turn, he learned about Western advances in architecture, governance, and philosophy. Kavi realized that he was not only a merchant, but a bridge between worlds, carrying stories and knowledge that would enrich both sides. One evening, Kavi met Helena, a Greek philosopher who had traveled from Athens to learn more about the East. The two engaged in long discussions, comparing philosophies and customs. Helena was fascinated by the Eastern emphasis on harmony and balance, while Kavi was intrigued by the Greek quest for knowledge and the Roman emphasis on law and order. Their conversations symbolized the Silk Road's role in bridging cultures, as people from distant lands learned from each other and found common ground. Part 5. Return and Legacy. With his fortune secured, Kavi returned to Taxila, now a seasoned merchant with connections across empires. He used his wealth to establish a trade guild, training young merchants in the art of negotiation, navigation, and cultural exchange. His guild became renowned for its code of conduct, emphasizing fair trade, respect for local customs, and the importance of knowledge alongside profit. Kavi's adventures inspired generations of traders, and his stories were told in marketplaces across Asia and Europe. His name became legendary along the Silk Roads, remembered as one of the first to recognize that the true wealth of trade was not in gold or goods, but in the connections and understanding that united humanity. Part 6. The End of an Era. As centuries passed, empires rose and fell, and the Silk Roads changed with them. Wars, plagues, and shifting trade patterns altered the routes, and the once thriving trade hubs saw fewer travelers. Yet the legacy of the Golden Silk Roads endured. They had not only fueled the economies of ancient empires, but had also sown the seeds of cultural exchange that would shape the world for centuries to come. Today, remnants of these ancient trade routes can still be traced through archaeological sites and the stories passed down by generations. The Golden Silk Roads are remembered as more than mere paths through deserts and mountains. They were the lifelines of civilization, where the dreams, ambitions, and ideas of countless cultures converged, forever shaping the course of human history. Today, remnants of these ancient trade routes can still be traced through archaeological sites and the stories passed down by generations. The Golden Silk Roads are remembered as more than mere paths through deserts and mountains. They were the lifelines of civilization, where the dreams, ambitions, and ideas of countless cultures converged, forever shaping the course of human history. In quiet desert towns and old market cities, people still tell stories of the caravans that once crossed their lands, bringing with them the allure of distant worlds. Local festivals sometimes celebrate the tales of merchants like Kavi, who braved unknown dangers for the sake of adventure and trade. Travelers journey along segments of the Silk Roads, imagining the once bustling markets, the vibrant sounds of languages blending together, and the grand exchanges that occurred between merchants from China, Persia, India, and Rome. Though the Silk Roads may be silent today, their spirit lives on. Modern trade routes, though much faster, owe their origins to these ancient paths, where the value of trade was measured not only in wealth, but in the understanding it fostered. The silk that was once hidden from the West is now a common luxury, and spices that were once rare are household staples across continents. The boundaries of the world have shifted, but the connections made possible by trade continue to influence us. And so, every now and then, when a silk garment is worn, a spice-laden dish is tasted, or a traveler braves an unknown land, they walk in the footsteps of those who came before, honoring a legacy of courage, curiosity, and a world without borders. For those who understand, the Golden Silk Roads are more than just history. They are a testament to the boundless spirit of humankind and the bridges that trade built between civilizations.